Hello, welcome back to Reunion of Threads. Yeah, we're back for episode 3. Never figured this was going to happen, but hey, we had fun with the game. We're going to go a little further with it. So I'm Perry Clark. I'm your flight controller for this game. And let me just go ahead and get into introductions with our players before I start the recap of where we are and where we intend to go today. So, starting off with Shawcat.
Hey! I am Shawnee of Shawcat Cosplay, and I am playing Sway Weaver, an Earther medical professional who got a call from the UN and then threw up.
Yeah, we're thinking that's going to be the episode title for today, or for the last game. Ariadne, or should I say Ran?
Yeah, hi, my name is Ryan. I use she, her pronouns. I will be playing Ariadne Weaver tonight. I am a belter who is just freshly out of her entire life saving due to reasons.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's probably not going to cause any other problems in relationships. And
Cool.
last but not least, Chantel.
Hi, I am Chantel B, pronouns they, them, and tonight I will be playing Pax Weaver, pronouns also they, them. I tried to throw up and didn't.
So as you've heard mentioned, we've mentioned Earth, Mars, and Belter, because what we're playing is in the Expanse universe, but we're using the Savage World system. Now, our game is set in the time of the television series between seasons 1 and 2. After the protomolecule-laden asteroid had been redirected to Venus and attempts have been happening to spark the war between Earth and Mars. Now, our characters are 3 cousins who find themselves on a ship burning its way through the system. 3 descendants of the Weaver family who took different paths. One to explore science of Mars, the other to labor and build the belt, and the third who stayed on Earth. 3 cousins who are meeting for the first time and getting to know each other. What will they find? What will they become? And are they still family? So when we last left our episode from episode 2, they had made it to Palace Station, where they had docked, warned the various traffic organizations about the derelict satellite, and had offloaded their captain, Rosa, who was still injured, but could be better treated in spin gravity. After which, they, also with starting repairs on the ship after the damaged piloting console, they decided to retreat and begin decompressing at a local venue, the Rock Harbor, to just take it in. During which a number of conversations were had of starting to realize and ask the question about why are we here and the connections to Protogen and their various genetic structures that brought them in together. This also led to some flashbacks about the relationship between Earth and Mars, the relationships between those that were lost and concerns around what happened on Eros, as well as giving us a glimpse of why one of our characters' beloved friends is sitting in a coma. From there, they went and sought more answers, after they also sending messages to their various contacts at Protogen, where they found the local facility there on Palace Station locked down by Star Helix, the security firm that manages the station, and also cameras on it. As they began to make their way to try to find out things at the Star Helix office, a phone call came for Sway from the UN, asking questions and asking for a meeting. Flabbergasted and stressed out, they proceeded on to Star Helix's office, where they were actually held for interrogation and separated for a time. Enough things and questions were asked that concern rose between all of them, and they made their escape, which involved a very successful roll to see whether a constitution would fail and someone would be thrown up on. They made their way out and back into the station after seeing, as they made their way back down towards the docking bay, the mysterious woman that had appeared to them in the first episode appeared again, gesturing towards a sign with the word Titan on it. They made their way down to the docking bay and managed to get past the Star Helix security into the bay itself, only to discover the Mamiwata was in lockdown. A choice was made as realization that an OPA faction was in the docking bay and could provide them a distraction for them to get to the ship and get it unlocked. It came with also giving up all of their life savings to do so. They succeeded in getting on board the ship and making their escape from the station and essentially creating the space equivalent of Grand Theft Auto as they continued burning their way towards Titan and a meeting that they had been asked to do. So we find ourselves, it's been a number of hours, if not days. Who can tell as you're burning your way into the darkness? The spaces between planets here in the outer belt is even greater and even longer. Now, the repairs to the Mommy Water had been just put on hold because of the lockdown, which means they're continuing to fly with the makeshift piloting station of the engineering console. But with the fact that there's now only 3 when they started with a crew of 6, means that there's a lot of double duty. And Ariadne, you can't be on both repairing the ship and flying the ship all the time. So, who's cross-training as another engineer? Who's cross-training as a stand-in pilot? Not to mention, as I recall, Pax was also doing the kitchen duty.
Oh no.
So, which one of you, Pax and Sway, are learning to become a stand-in pilot, and who's learning to become a stand-in engineer?
I should probably take engineering.
Okay.
And I guess I'm learning how to pilot.
Yep. So why don't you each give me a roll to see how you're doing under Ariadne's care and how Ariadne's doing as teaching you the basics of engineering and piloting. So what I'm going to get, Sway, you're going to, well, both of you, Sway and Pax, you're going to be doing smarts rolls at the base starting stat, which means you're going to be using a D4 because you're literally untrained at this and you're getting trained at it. And Ariadne, I'm going to have you make me a smarts roll with your, let's see here, Gillival trade to see how you're doing at teaching them the basics of these tasks.
So it's smarts plus the D4 or just
you're going to do smarts at D4 because this is an untrained skill for you, plus your D6.
Okay.
Is this a... No, this is D12.
Okay, so both exploded.
Ooh, keep going with those explosions.
I got a
And
5.
then
Okay.
Wait, so what does Gillival trait mean? It just means +1?
You're going to get a +1 to anything you're doing here. In this case, this is how well you teach.
Okay.
All right, so we got a 5 from Pax, and we got exploding from Sway. What do we get on the teaching roll?
14.
14. So, what did we get as from the explosion?
okay, so the D4, it was the 4 and then the 1,
Mhm.
and then the D6, it was the D6 and then a 2.
Okay, so the D6 came up higher with at least an 8, so you got an 8 for that. So, Ariadne, as you begin to teach Sway about piloting, there is some advantages because Sway has had some experience doing remote surgery. So some of those basic principles do translate well. Not to mention, you'd be surprised what it means about moving a vascular probe through tight spaces is very similar to trying to navigate through asteroids.
Yeah.
But still, the aspect too, and probably again, what makes it easier is that aspect of having to deal with the navigation principles. Again, trying to move a probe through a heart or through a liver has some strange similarities to astronavigation because you got to always know where you are.
Yeah.
Oddly familiar, Ariadne.
It's probably quite similar to when you're doing your operations. It's not your hands that are steering, it's your whole body. That is, you have to feel it. And then the ship is going to be like a part of you, or rather, it's the opposite. You're going to be a part of it. Like you're its brain, and then it's going to move by the way you are.
Thanks.
As for packs, you got the 5, correct? There are some pieces that are make do sense, but there's a whole lot that are still just and
It's so different. I'm used to working very small scale. This is not that.
yeah, if it wasn't for just the small scale, when you've had to repair things in your own lab as opposed to being able to wait for the repair service to, that gives you the leg up. But still, you're dealing with some broad systems and having to have a discovery about how they interact. Now, the advantage of if you trace this back into what you do with biology, you can just see these as systems within the biological system as well. But Ariadne definitely does give you a number of manuals to start reading when you're not cooking or watching the comms.
Lucky me.
She'll also kind of say to you, the manuals are going to help, but you also just have to listen to it. Let the ship tell you what's wrong with it. Touch it, feel the vibration, and listen to the sound. There is a special language once you get to know her.
Do I have time to get to know it?
You've got
Not really, but
hours and days.
I will do my best.
All right. So this continues on as you guys continue making your way in the vast darkness. And then some messages from home and such start coming in. So why don't we start with the message for Ariadne from your beloved? What is that message?
Ari, honey, something happened to our savings and I'm hearing rumors. Where are you? I'm worried. You wouldn't do this to me, would you? To us? Why does someone from the OPA on Palace have our money? Call me.
Ariadne, what's your response?
she's going to go to the side and hyperventilate a little bit. It was in the moment she made that decision because it was life and death, or so she felt, and she forgot all about it. How could she forget about Althea in that moment? And it was going to be their life. She doesn't know how to respond. I think she's going to find a moment to talk to Sway and Pax about it, maybe.
Oh, go right on ahead.
What do I even say? I don't know. It's not just my saving. We did it together. We were going to try to buy a place together, but I don't know.
How much was it?
Flight
By
controller.
let's put it this way: with the inflation and such, with everything that's going on, for all intents and purposes, most belters are living sort of a lower class lifestyle.
Yeah.
So use that comparable to what you know about your local area's socioeconomic levels.
She's gonna say they tried to save this money for a long time, and then it's the equivalent of 10 grand.
If we make it out of this, I can give you some of it back.
It's not on you. It's my own fault, and we had to. I had to, and I hope she.
The truth that it was life and death for sure. You definitely want to lead with that. and the astute promise that if we make it out of this, you're gonna do everything to make it up.
Yeah. Right now, maybe it is not a good idea to tell her where we are and what we're doing.
Or the fact that we are fugitives.
I, I don't know if it's the less she knows, the better, or if you might want to give a heads up in case the UN calls her.
Yeah, maybe give her a
Christ.
heads up in case the UN calls her. Tell her to disappear for a bit,
Right.
just in case.
Thanks. Yeah, I think I need to call her right now. Yeah. I might die. I might explode as I speak to her, but I think I need to call her right now.
So, what message do you record for her?
Tia, my love, it was life and death. I'm so sorry that you had to find out like that without any warning from me, but I promise you that once I sort out everything, I will try my very best to get our savings back. And if the UN calls you, don't answer. Just hang up. Please, trust me on this. Just trust me. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Give me a vigor roll after that, spirit roll after that, recording that message.
Such important information for everyone going forward. If the UN calls you, hang up.
7.
Okay. So you managed to keep it together during that call, and you do emphasize the relationship and such. So using those little pet names and those little phrases, you figure that she's still going to be furious. You're still going to have a lot of explaining to do, but you might have placated things for right now.
I hope she forgives me, or rather, just not send some assassins after me, at the very least.
Have you done this before?
No, never. Well, we never really had much of a saving.
Then maybe you'll get lucky.
Maybe. I know we are in so much trouble right now, but something tells me. And the fact that that woman showed up again when we were trying to get away, I think Lady Luck is on our side, maybe.
I don't know that I agree. I am now a fugitive. The one time I make this big, bold decision counter to everything that has kind of been in at least my side of the family's nature, and now I may never get to return to Earth. I don't know that I feel lucky with how things are turning out right now.
And that's when you get a message.
Hey,
Doctor?
Sway, it's Dr. Sandra Crow. Just calling to give you a quick update on Sue's. The numbers are holding, but I am seeing some strain on their renal function. Dialysis is still working, but we need to start thinking about long-term options if this trend continues. Nothing immediate, of course. but I'd rather plan ahead than scramble later. Let me know when you have time to talk. But I know this might not be what you want to hear right now, but we also need to talk about the payment plan. I'm not seeing a lot of updates. Anyway, call me back.
I yeah, luck, definitely not a word I would use. I need to go process this. I'll be right back.
Are you okay, Sway?
Okay.
I just need a moment. I just need a second. And Sway will just go kind of stand off. Mm, Not like leave the training bay, but just turn and face a wall and try to compose herself.
And this is just a sampling for our content warning of what you're going to be encountering in this game as we go forward, because there's more coming. But don't worry, I don't plan to throw blood at you today. So you see Sway in this state, and did they hear the message as well, or did you keep it more private?
Uh, I think I would have just answered it immediately and listened to it without even thinking about it. It would have been out loud. Everyone would have heard.
So this is also the first point where, for the two of you, you're hearing more about Sukra. There's always been hints about why and life Sway's life back on Earth, but who's Sukra?
Sukra is Sway's pillar, her partner in crime, her study buddy, the one person who would encourage any wayward, contrary thought that Sway had that differed from anyone around her. Sway could always count on Sukra to hear her out and could always count on Sukra to probably be thinking something even crazier. But somehow that chaos that was Sukra was grounding for Sway, was always a reason to stay, was always a reason to press on in the difficult moments or the mundane moments that Sway took for granted about life. And then Sukra had an accident, but the accident itself was the result of a sickness that ultimately resulted in Sukra losing most of her functions, and there's not really a cure, and there's not much known about it. And right now, all that's ever been done is just keeping Sukra comfortable. And Sukra's just kind of the love of Sway's life in a way, um, like that platonic soulmate. And being loved in return in that way, where nothing was expected other than for you to just be you. Suker's the only person Sway ever felt like she truly got that from.
Ariadne is going to walk towards where Sway is standing, to the side, to the corner. She's not going to sort of about 5 feet away, so she's not entirely like really close to her, next to her, anything like that. She would just quietly say, "We don't have to talk about it until you're ready, but I'm right here. I'll just be right here."
I I hope that I hope that I'm wrong and that we are lucky and that at the end of all of this it's all gonna be worth it somehow.
I'm sorry if that sounded like a cop out of the situation. It's terrible, I know that, but it's just something that I always told myself. If I tell myself that everything is alright and everything is going to be alright enough times, maybe it just will be.
I need it to be.
Then it will. I'll make sure it will be. There must be some reason that we were all here, right?
That we all saw her.
That we are connected somehow. 3 drops of blood in the long lineage of storied past. And maybe there is something in our blood. Maybe that something is going to turn the tide and bring your love back.
Well, regardless, we're gonna look out for each other. If there is something special, then we'll get down to the bottom of it and we'll have a say-so.
Yeah. And I know it doesn't feel like home right now, but there is a saying amongst our belters. Your blood is your home. And we've found our blood, haven't we? And we're not in the place we live right now, but we can be each other's home until we find it again.
Question for the flight controller.
Yes.
If we send messages, can they be intercepted? And can our location be established?
Give me a knowledge, a smarts roll. Since you've sort of been doing duty also on the comm system.
Mm-hmm. Oh, both of them exploded. Okay, so 10.
So, between what you've been doing on the comm unit and also what you've known because of your family connections and such, you know that the tighter the beam, the harder it is for it to be traced. The laser connections to broadband, it makes it a little harder, easier because they can be pinpointed across things. But there are limits, especially even though you're doing a tight beam, it's got to go through some public channels. So there's always a possibility, but you're not sure. And communications and subterfuge wasn't exactly your training set. So you know that these messages that have been coming through were probably broadbanded with the tags to hit your specific names and systems.
I think while that conversation's happening, Pax has headed back to send a message to the UN. Because if they call you, you hang up. But like sometimes you need to call them. And that's just how it is, I guess.
So please give us that UN message. And then we'll get Sway's response to the doctor.
We haven't done anything wrong. Why are you trying to hold us? Why does it feel like you're trying to set us up for something? That's the message. That's it.
We'll get to see if there's a response to that in a bit. What type of response do you have, Sway, to the inquiry from Sukra's doctor?
I send off-world, can't talk until I'm back. Please give me more time.
All right. Short, brief, to the point. As you are continuing your journey, the system-wide news network comes online. Or as you're monitoring, I mean, it's going out to all of the entire system as news that peace talks between Earth and Mars broke down with the revelation by one of the Martian military members, a Rebecca Draper, bringing claims that the UN had fired first and that they had responded to something else on the attack on Ganymede. This caused the peace talks to break down, and then there was shortly afterwards they announced the death of the security minister on Earth as well. Someone that you Pax are familiar with that I should say not the security minister, the war minister, had died on Earth as well. You know that heightens tensions, especially now with what's gone on. As there has also been news in the system of the failure of Ganymede's atmospheric system. At least 100 belters had managed to make it off the station before the system went into total collapse. Deaths count into several thousands. And you're aware that the salad you had back on Pallas was mentioned to have originally came from Ganymede, which was the bread belt for the belt.
Oh.
Tensions are high as forces from the UN are mounting around Jupiter. Sorry about that. Mounting around Jupiter. But it is likely also that the Mars and the Martian Confederates are mounting to be in position and ready to take control of Ganymede should things break down in future talks. Additionally, news of the expedition to Venus to discover what had happened of the Eros station have also gone silent. Speculation is mounting whether this was an attack by the UN or the Mars in ships that were both sent to investigate. Pax, there's a call for you from Hazel.
Pax, I hope that you are keeping up with the news. Um, things are getting really tense, and I don't want you to worry. Um, I normally I'm a little more put together than this, but have you given any thought to what our future should be when you return? Because I have, and current situations aside, I was thinking about this before you left, and I wanted to wait until you got back. But have you considered our future together and what you'd like that to look like? Because I have, and I think that I like to think of our future as one that includes marriage, that includes us together watching and building Mars. And more than ever now, I am fully committed to Mars and to you. And I await your return. And in all honesty, I hope that it is sooner rather than later. I love you.
It takes Pax a really long time to reply. Not because they don't know what they want to say, but because they don't know if by saying it they're putting Hazel in danger. Or even if, like, Hazel's already in danger simply because the message was sent in the first place and got here. But they do reply. And say, Hazel, I love you. And yes, I think I do want to get married, and I do want to get married to you. There are some strange things happening at the moment. And I ask that if people start to say things about what's happening, about what I'm doing, you know me better than almost anyone in the world, on planet and off. And I need you to trust me while I figure out what's going on here. And when I get back, I don't really want to leave again for a long time. Love you. And then they send that.
And off into across the lasers, lost across the networks that didn't allow communications. Those messages each make their way out. It's a while later as you guys have continued on towards Saturn. It's still off in its distance, and it's still a ways. But Titan, which is one of the moons of Saturn, is slowly beckoning to you when a response call comes in. and a Indian woman, grayed hair, but lavish outfits, appears on the screen in a very raspy voice. Says, I am only seeking you because of your connection to Protogen. If you can share with me what is going on there, and potentially what it has to effects of the attacks on Earth and with Eros, and perhaps Phoebe Station, I would be more interested, and can free up any of the things that are right now holding you back. And if you know about the locations of Jules Mal, that would help as well. I await your response. I am Under Secretary Avasarala of the UN. Speak to you soon. And she closes the channel.
Well, I think what I do is head back to everyone else, if they're not with
We
me,
can gather at the dinner table.
and relay it's a bad meal. I'm stressed.
Yeah, you little overcook the cheese.
It's I'm used to dairy cheese, and this ain't it. And I relay that message,
Which one?
the last one, the one from the UN.
Okay.
Why does the UN keep calling us?
Well, this time, Sway, I called them.
Oh.
I wanted to know what was going on, and I asked them why there is so much of a problem, and they think that we are connected to what happened at Phoebe Station.
Can you play that? Can you play that message again?
I play it.
So, Phoebe Station was one of the events that take place in season 1. It was a station that was controlled and was joint shared between Earth and Mars, but mostly under Martian control. Mars nuked Phoebe Station. And it was believed at that point that the Canterbury, which was a ship originally carrying, that had been collecting ice in the Mars area, had paid a visit to Phoebe Station. It was later destroyed, and James Holden broadcasted a broadband message across the entire system, blaming Mars for it.
I thought the diplomatic talks were going to cover that.
They've been failing.
They have been failing.
Have we have the Belters heard or learned anything about Madame Avasarala?
Oh, OPA has them highly marked as a high value target for taking them out, as well as the potential
Right.
cause of several OPA operatives' demise.
Are there any intel specifically about her in relation to the UN that we would learn?
You know she's a major UN official, but you'd have to get deeper into the OPA and its various operations. You're just at the edge.
Okay.
But her
And
name is widely known
message-
among all Belters.
And the message, does she seem like super big with government official, or does it actually seem like there's genuine communication happening?
Let's have Pax make let's have you make a smarts roll. And this would go into your read the room, I believe,
Yep.
for your assessment of that conversation.
What does
Oh,
work
sorry,
the room
work
do
the
for
room.
me?
So that's going to give you
Work the room.
a +2.
+2. So in total, that's
So
a 7.
you know this is an official, and you know from your life on Mars, officials do a lot of things. As far as you can tell, right now they're being sincere, but there's probably always more to the story, especially if this is somebody in to be the undersecretary of the to the UN. This is a person who knows the corridors of power.
Yes. What was your question, Ariadne?
They tell us about her. I know this woman.
Yeah.
That name. They tell us about her almost like bedtime stories for Belter kids. Dangerous, resourceful. Plays the chess, not the checkers, eh?
That's the whole UN.
I don't think she looks out for any of us except for her own.
Yeah.
I mean, her own being Earth.
That's true.
It's you.
There's there's a lot at play here that we don't understand. Like Phoebe wasn't an Earth station. And then
Both
Ariadne,
Earth and Mars have control over it.
you were telling us about the potential cover up of something happening.
In Eros.
Yeah, the Aero Station. What's
All I know is I'm pretty sure Althea is the only one left in her family. Everyone else just lost on Eros.
and we don't know much about Protogen other than that they think something about our DNA is important.
Just have to believe that it's for a good reason and not anything destructive.
Would she even believe us if we told her that we don't generally know?
How are we supposed to know where Jules Mao is?
What does he have to do with this?
He's the head of the company.
He's the head of Protogen. But where would he?
Do you think he will be on Titan? Is he the one we're supposed to meet there?
Tell her if she lets us go on our way uninhibited, we can tell her what we know afterwards.
I mean, they don't know where we are at the moment, so they can't
Oh, okay.
stop us yet.
What if you ask her to help us? Help her?
They. She says a lot. She says a lot of fancy words. She says a lot of smart words. But the more we message her, the more we message them, the easier it is for them to find us.
We're just in the crosshair of two powerful entities that we have nothing to do with between the UN and a super corporation.
What is Protogen? And how do they lose a CEO?
It sounds like he's going rogue.
Do you
If
do
the
a
Protogen
further data
office-
search?
What?
Or do you do a further data search?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and give me smart rolls.
Both of us?
All of you, if you like.
Oh.
Because that's a very important question.
Could I
And that
use?
also means that you can use any type of contacts you have. I mean, especially for you, Sway, being the Earther, you might be able to find something about what's going on from Earth and your
I on-
connections.
Could I use
I only got a
connections?
Sorry, say that again?
Could I use connections?
Sure.
I only got a 3, but I'm tempted to message my dad.
You
Dad,
can. You can.
help.
What about for you, Sway?
I rolled 2 1s.
Ooh.
Now is not the time.
Yeah, actually,
No, I'm
what I'm
not
going
in
to
the
say,
right headspace for this.
yeah, what I'm going to say is, as you begin to start doing some of the research, you do discover that the care facility you had been working for at and had been managing was a protogen, or should I say, a Jules Mal's asset.
Oh. Um.
I don't want
So
to ask. I'm gonna ask. Is that where Sucra is?
Uh, the no, no, no. Mine got closed down, or it's getting closed down. They're shutting it down. Why are they shutting it down?
Oh, it was cost cutting.
got a 13 um,
Uh,
on the die, and I don't know what connection adds to
All
it.
right. So, pulling through your connections and so forth, what you get not so much on Protogen, but you do get through, shall we say, the Belter text network, uh, messages about the concerns that Avasarala has left Earth. She's somewhere out in the black, in the expanse.
Did she leave Earth on a UN project?
They don't know, but their contact shows she's just recently left Earth.
Share with everyone, especially Pax. She just responded to you.
yes.
She's
No,
not
it's a
even on
recorded
Earth.
message.
Wait, it's a recorded message. Can I check? Can we check for follow?
So would you like to give me another smarts roll?
Yeah. My dice don't like me today, so no, I don't. I don't want to. A 3.
Yeah, based off of it, it had been recorded shortly after you sent yours. Um, the date timestamp on it did actually suggest it did come from Earth, but it might have been an Earth orbit.
I'm gonna send a message to my dad.
And what is that message to him?
Hi, Dad. Uh, this is ridiculous. But I need help. Undersecretary Avasarala thinks I'm involved in something I'm not. Something to do with the Protogen Company. And Jules Mao. I don't know what to do. Help.
Message is sent into the ether. We'll see what happens. Anything else you want to research or consider or plot while you're continuing your course?
I want to look up if the facility Sucra's at is Protogen.
Okay, let us see if that is the case.
Oh no.
It's a subsidiary, another of the biomedical firms, but not Protogen directly. It is connected to Mao Industries.
Mao
Can
is connected to so many different facilities doing medical care and research.
I- Is there anything to do with Mao and my work?
Let's see.
No.
No.
Okay.
Do you know when he started sticking all of his fingers in these medical pies? Did something happen? What got him interested? And Ariane never got another like message from Protogen, right? Like she sent back
Beyond
a
what was
message.
necessary to set up the arrangement and the funding that went to Captain Rosa and the Mamiwata, no, you haven't had, other than, the occasional check-ins on, again, route
Okay.
taking off and so forth. There had been a message sent when you guys had gathered and as you were leaving Lunar Station, but that was the last one you had.
Time to do a basic Google check. What does their about page say on the website? What is their focus? What are they doing?
There's no longer a Protogen page up on
Hmm.
the network.
Can I? So how does communication work, right? And in this
Mhm.
world, is if there's a person you want to communicate to, do you just try to?
So essentially, it's kind of at this point with this massive interconnection and communication structure. At this point, as long as you've got essentially their email address, it will be bounced around until it connects to the person in the network, unless you specifically direct it, which is going to be more the cases of more of the higher level facilities and so forth.
All right. Ariadne wants to send a message to Jules Mao.
Okay. What would you like to record to Jules Mao?
Mr. Mao, the three of us have been summoned from all corners of the universe, and supposedly you have information and interest in all of us. We don't really know why we're here, even though part of me wants to thank you for connecting all of us back together. But all of this has pulled us into certain hot waters with both all of the government entities trying to track us down, and they are looking for you as well. If you want to be a little bit clearer to us, perhaps we could help each other a little bit better.
And message is sent. As you continue to draw closer and more into Saturn's space. When you receive a communication, ship to ship,
That's not good.
What kind of ship?
this is the MCRN Corvette Cruiser Adversary. You are entering MCRN controlled space. Hold 2 for inspection.
In all of the news that we read, was there any call for us?
No.
Ariadne, is this normal?
You know that any of the controlled space, whether it's UN or Mars, any ship entering, and especially now that heightened tensions are up, is prone to get inspected, especially if it doesn't seem like it's one of their, shall we say, affiliates.
Is Titan controlled by Mars?
It is mutual controlled space, but there are sections, shall we say, zones that are specifically, and Phoebe Station was one of those controlled places by Mars.
Alright, we need to get our stories straight. What are we doing here?
Titan is where we were supposed to go for our job assignment.
Right, but that job is not coming from Mars, and do we just say we are coming for Protogen? Are we gonna get locked up again?
We could just say that we have work on Titan.
Right.
How much information do they need?
They want to inspect the ship.
We don't have anything.
Right.
And they're not taking my moisturizer, so...
I'm going to... So Ariane is just going to respond. What's the ship's name again? MCRN?
We're going to go with the Adacel.
MCRN Adacel. This is Mamiwata. We acknowledge your presence. We are civilians. No hostile intention. Maintain your course.
Receive, Mommy Water. Cool your engines and prepare to be boarded for inspection purposes.
Do we have our? Do I know any our rights? Like, can
Do we
can
have
we
rights?
refuse? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've
I mean-
had other occasions of having boardings in the past, but let's go ahead and have you roll a smarts check.
Okay. Is this Jill of all trades territory?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead with that one.
Okay. Okay, that's a 9 total.
Okay. So you know that there is a standard procedures for an inspection. Obviously, with the heightened experiences that are going on, they're probably going to be even more of a hard ass than usual. I mean, that for Belters, that's kind of the standard notion for Martians whatsoever. But of course, the thing that makes it more difficult is you're not Captain Rosa, and you're essentially in a stolen ship.
Yeah.
The question is, how much do they know that? And can you figure out a way to talk your way through the fact that you don't have Captain Rosa's papers? More or less.
Okay. All right.
We did go through a debris field that caused a bunch of damage and injuries.
It's quite evident, and I do have my credentials as a crew member of this ship.
We only tell the truth. We just don't tell all of it.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just be calm, and we'll get through it. Nothing to
No
hide,
mention. No mention of Protogen for now.
of course. So, we're just the standby crew of Mamiwata after our Captain Rosa was injured by the fleeting debris, and we're following her query here. And that's all.
So that's your story. So it's a short time later as you feel the jerk and bounce as the Adisal docks with Mommy Water. At which point, are you going to meet them at the airlock?
I think we should.
Yeah.
Do we know which part of this space that we are in? Like, who controls this space? Because we've got one of each. We have like a whole. We have a whole like tasting platter. So
Yeah, right now Mars is stating it claims dominion over this section of space.
okay. Then I
Did
will
you
step-
just call us snacks?
Yes, yes, I did.
So there are
We
other sections
are
of
snacks.
Saturn that are controlled by the UN, and right now Belter or the OPA as well.
Okay.
Looking
that
at
case-
packs to like maybe you should.
I'm a face. I'm there. I can work the room if I need to.
All right. So, as the docking procedures complete and the airlock cycles, into the cargo hold steps three suited military officers of the MCRN, two of which are armed, one is not. Or at least one visibly has probably got a sidearm, but it enters in and is beginning to look around the ship itself as it looks over to you. So you've entered Martian controlled space. Do you have your identification?
I show my identification.
He sort of looks at it for a moment and looks over at you. You're a long way from home, ma'am.
Yes.
And then sort of looks over at the other two.
I step over to stand slightly in front of them and say, family reunion.
Sort of looks at you for a moment. Takes a step back. Family reunion, you say. All right. He pulls out a small black container and pops a pill into his mouth. You know that's the focus drug.
Great.
And as Sway, for this moment, you watch as his eyes dilate and contract inward. As he's now going into hyper observation mode. Think of it as the equivalent of the Bene Gesserit truth-telling phase. But he's now scrutinizing everyone in this room. He sees Ariadne beginning to chew on her lip. Could you explain more about your family reunion, please? And I'd like to see identifications for the two of you as well.
I'll present it.
Earther, you're related to each other? You seem to have the same last name. And
We
what
are
about
all
you?
weavers.
Cousins.
Cousins, you
Distant
say.
cousins.
Distant cousins.
I'll
right.
present mine as well. And I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What does a belter identification say or look like?
It's kind of a standard, kind of the equivalent of, everyone sort of has this on your devices. Kind of think of it like equivalent of a driver's license, just to
Okay.
identify yourself. Further details can be called up and such, but your belter details is showing who you are, name, place of registration of birth.
Yeah.
In this case would be Cirrus.
I will present that, and Ariadne is also going to present her sort of ID for the ship as well, since she is legitimate crew here.
Scans it. And where is Captain Rosa, or Abraham Young?
They
And there
had
is also an
injuries
Alice.
that were beyond my capabilities to service in the ship.
And where are they now?
A med bay.
Then you don't mind if I inspect the med bay to speak with them?
No, at a station. Sorry, a medical station.
Ah, which medical station? As he is just locked in and scrutinizing you.
Palace.
Very well. Palace. So what is your business out here?
Finishing the job.
And your job?
Captain
Not
Rosa
really
was
sure. We're
told
contracted.
to reach Titan, and we were told that we will receive further instruction once we get there. Well, once we land, that is.
And who's your contact on Titan?
Oh, I imagine we will receive further instruction from Captain Rosa, or whoever her contact is as well. That's what I meant. Whoever Captain Rosa's contact is.
Captain Rose's contact. He turns and is like, begin an inspection of the ship. And you see one of them step away and start making his way, looking at the various crates that are in the hold, as the other one is standing very much focused on the three of you.
Could I get you a cup of tea or anything?
Sorry, how rude. How rude of me. May I see your badge?
Of course. And at which point he'll hand over his identification.
What does it say?
It says Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Simonton. And he shows of the Olympia Planitia dome set.
So, Belter.
No, he's Martian.
He's Martian.
Utopia Planitia. Well, okay, so
yes.
we're going to say Olympus Mon, just easier on that regards. Dome set, which is, you know where that particular location is on Mars. It's the location of where the various domes that make up Martian colonies and lands, essentially where their cities are located, depending on the location. And Olympus Mon is one of the biggest mountain ranges there.
Here's me trying to pull weight. Do I know his boss?
Give me a roll for that one. Work the room.
Do I know your boss? Can I get us out of this way? What am I rolling?
You're going to be rolling your smarts on this case. You've got work the room, which I believe already gives you a 1. Because this is also going to be a common knowledge roll. Because of your position with your father, you're aware of some of the various assignments of who's in charge of what area.
Just realized I'm supposed to be rolling a d8, not a d6 for smarts. Hey, step that up. Okay. So it's a +1 for work the room. So it's a 7.
All right. So while you don't know exactly his boss, but you do know the admiral that is in charge of overseeing Saturn and their name.
What's that name?
That would be Captain Singh Amarha.
Olympia. How is Captain Amaha?
You're aware of the admiral?
Oh, yes, of course.
What did you say your name was again?
Pax Weaver.
What's your father? And so this is the flight controller asking this question, not the officer. What's your father's name?
Simon.
Simon Weaver. And what is his particular holding ranking? Because you know he's on the Science Council.
Yes.
But was he former military or purely science?
I think former military, because Pax can fight, and I think part of that is this was what I learned from my dad.
So you're going to drop your dad's name?
Oh yeah, Daddy saved me.
So you drop Commander Simeon Weaver.
Yes.
Wait, you're Commander Weaver's daughter? Child?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You-
For the pronoun, sorry.
You know him.
Well, it's a little hard not to with everything that's going on. He was overseeing the Mars mission. Or sorry, the Venus mission.
Oh. Yes, of course.
We've lost contact with them.
That is news to me.
I'm sure it is. Obviously, we would let you know had you been back on Mars.
Is all of this going to take a long time?
At which point, looking around, especially with what you've dropped, I don't think so. I think you guys can continue on your way.
Thank you.
He will touch a mic. Let's go back in. This is all clear. And you see the trooper that was beginning to make his way down the hallway come back, sort of giving you guys a suspicious look before they withdraw. You're more or less in papers to proceed on to Titan. I would suggest you make the best speed for that.
Thank you. And thank you for the news.
I wish you the best. I hope there's more coming in.
Thank you.
And they depart, and the airlock doors close, and you hear the eventual uncoupling of the ship.
Pax slides to the floor.
That was amazing.
And it
Yeah.
makes Hazel's message a little more making sense.
Pax?
Is everything alright?
My father's gone missing, or is as missing as Jules Mal, apparently. I don't know what's happening.
What's the last you heard from him?
When I left, everyone was at home and okay.
Did you tell him about Prodigen and for the molecule?
I just sent him a message asking him for help. Now I don't know who's going to receive that message. And I hope
What was
it's
the
him.
Venus mission for?
Well, Eros slammed into Venus.
It's to assess what's happened and what's been happening.
Because Eros was moving without any visual form of mass or project propulsion system, let alone to do the maneuverings that it could do. It was a mystery.
Well, then it could just be a debris field, blocking communication.
It could be. I hope so.
He's a scientist, you say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's smart. If anything, he'll figure
And
it
it was
out.
Martian tech.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could it be possible that he could work with Prodigen as well? Do you think?
I'm sure he would have said something. He knew I was leaving. He saw me off.
Make me let's go with a spirit roll.
A 1 and a 3.
So you know there is certain things that your father, due to security clearance, wouldn't share with you. He shares a number of things, but there are projects, especially connected with Mars, that he couldn't share those with you.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was a project he was working on for the government, or even his own little clandestine projects, which you know he's had a few off the books, he couldn't have told you.
But if I'd been there, I would have been one of the people going to Venus anyway, so he would have said something,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. I just have to wait to see if he replies.
I don't know what I was thinking. I don't expect Jules Mao to reply to. I don't even know where he is. I just hope to find some answers.
How far are we from Titan?
A few more hours. Which is when you get a chime on your communications. This is Dr. Yu of Protogen Titan Research Facility. I'm checking in because your ship was overdue some days ago. We did receive general traffic information that your ship is in orbit, or at least within general orbit of Saturn. We are looking forward to receiving you at Titan. What is your ETA? And the message ends.
Before we reply, can I do a Google of Dr. Yu?
Mm-hmm.
How can they just message so cavalierly like nothing's wrong?
Did they even send information about where we're supposed to go?
Yes, there is docking coordinates for the Titan station, which there's only one station.
No, I meant after. The Protogen office was closed back on Palace. Here, where are we supposed to go once we've docked?
Are you going to respond to the message about your ETA?
Is Dr. Yu's information as blocked as the whole company?
Give me a smarts roll.
Gee, I'm getting bored of these numbers. That's a 4.
Well, it's enough for success. You don't find a reference to this Dr. Yu connected to Protogen. You do find a general record about their thesis paper, which was talking about xenobiology and genetic structures.
Why would the doctor that wants to meet us be focused on... Area of interest is telling.
I think, are we to be studied as some sort of biological samples?
It seems strange that they need... Now that I think about it, it seems strange that they need, like, the whole organism. We could have sent samples of whatever they needed. I'm not saying I didn't want to meet you. I wanted to meet you both, but...
But it might be different if they were to test some sort of pathogen on us. They can see how we respond depending on our biology as an Earther, a Martian, and a Belter. I'm thinking worst case scenarios, of course. I'm feeling a bit nervous about all this.
I'm feeling nervous about it, but if we are of a benefit, it wouldn't make any sense for them to do something that would put us in danger. Maybe they need multiple samples. We don't know. But Mao is all over medical practices. The expertise of this particular contact. The UN's already phoning us. I think we need to see it through. I am not opposed to having some sort of signal that says, hey, we should bail.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think... Right. moment of glass half full, right? If the UN is calling you, and you, both of you, maybe I'm not as important, but it seems that the UN thinks that both of you are so important that they were calling you on your personal devices. So that means something, doesn't it?
I think it means they're trying to get to Protogen more than anything to do with us.
Yeah.
But if we do need to bail, then the UN might be our escape route.
Right.
Do you want to
Okay.
respond to that message to Undersecretary Avasarala?
You know what? Maybe I do. Maybe we reply and tell her what we're doing. No matter what, she's too far away to do anything. And then if something happens, at least they know. And
Tell her if she wants to get to Protogen and Jules Mao, then help us. Help us on Titan.
we don't know that that's where Jules Mao is.
But that's
But then
where
maybe she doesn't know either.
But that's where some facility of Protogen is. And she doesn't need to know whether or not Mao isn't here. We don't even know if whether or not he isn't here. He could be here.
Is there a way to delay our recording? So what if we put a timer? We record a message, and if that message goes out, like, I don't know, I don't know about this Dr. Yu, but we could be, if you don't hear from us in 24 hours, this is where we've been. This is what we know.
It's better if someone knows where we are and what we're doing. Someone in power. Someone who has power. Connections.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Let's send it also to Mars.
Yes. You know other members of the council, colleagues of your father, you could probably send a message to.
Yeah.
Should I send
You're
a
right.
message to the OPA?
Mm-hmm. Easily enough to send it to Fred Johnson.
Right.
Okay. So whatever message we send, it goes to all three.
Yeah.
Do you want to record it as individuals or as a group?
I think as a group. Whatever's happening, whatever happens, it is equally going to affect everyone.
You're right, Pax.
Concerns all of us.
Yeah.
I think if from the get-go everyone communicated with all parties involved, it wouldn't have even gotten to this point
You're right.
from an intergalactic scale.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's do it as a family.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is your message?
If you're receiving this, then enough time has passed on Titan that we haven't stopped this message. We were called there by the Protogen Company because of our relationship to each other. I am Pax Weaver, and I am a Martian.
Hi, I'm Sway Weaver. I'm from Earth.
And I am Ariadne Weaver, Belter. We grew up apart. We have always been connected as a family, and now we are here together because of a task received from the Protogen Company, and we might need your help.
Something medically or genetically about us is interesting and might be the key to something. We don't know what, and we did not probably grasp the gravity of the situation, but Protogen wants us for something. And we answered the call in the hope that it was something beneficial for everyone.
And whatever the Protogen is doing, it seems that every government wants to know what it's about, but we do not know. And it is simply our hope that we could shed some light on the fact that this is going to affect all of us, Earth, Mars, and the Belt. We are in this together, just like the three of us.
So, whatever's happening out there, it is not just Earth. It is not just the Belt, and it is not just Mars. Or they would have called just one of us. And they did not.
And you hit delay send.
I guess let's respond to Dr. Yu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We record that and it is on a delayed timer. What is the message to Dr. Yu?
Talk to you. This is Mamiwata. This is the Weavers. We're on our way momentarily, and we hope to see you soon and find out what it is that we are doing here.
Your ETA is about 10 hours.
We'll be there about 10 hours. Please send further instructions. Where can we find you?
And further information.
And further information.
If we need to do something with our diet or...
Do you hit send?
Yeah, I'll include the additional information and send.
So it's about 30 minutes later as you are taking this in and beginning to move through some of the ice crystals that you receive a response back with directions to what the docking port to land, and the greetings from Dr. Weaver that they are so excited to see you, and they'll be there at the docking port to greet you. And there's no need to do anything specialized for sample collection and stuff. We will handle that when you arrive.
Damn. I was hoping I could get some information that way, but it's okay.
Make me a notice roll, all three of you.
Wait, what's the roll?
Notice.
Oh my goodness, 3.
Two being my highest number.
6. Hold on.
Come on, Ariadne.
Please.
I need to. 17.
17. So you're already heightened as you are maneuvering the ship through and over the ice rings of Saturn, when just out the corner of your eye, and behind you, as the others are standing there, there's a fourth person on the bridge with you. You turn, and you each see Ariadne turn to look behind them. Standing in the doorway is a woman in cowrie beads and a blue dress, old, old Earth, looking on at you, smiling. At last, you're here, and I need your help. And that is where we will end the game tonight.
Ooh.
I'm stressed.
Wait, does she look real?
Yes, as if she's standing there as you are, even to the point of noticing some shadows.
Wait, so she's actually here?
Oh,
Did
we're
we
going to
get
have to find
shadows
out a bit
before?
more in the next game,
Oh no!
which will be our finale game as well. So, going off in reverse order, starting with Chantel, where can folks find you?
I have been Pax Weaver. I'm Chantel B. You can find me on pretty much everything as Chantel B. I am a writer, actor, psychologist, creator of all things. And I will be anywhere as long as it's Australia for now, I guess. And any when. It's been a good time.
Ran?
Hi, I am Ran, she, her pronouns, and I have been Ariadne Weaver. I can be found on Blue Sky as Burdick Inspiration, just one word, and Rhino Riddler on Instagram. I am a theater director by trade and TTRPG enthusiast. Does a bit of painting, music, and recently turned, the last couple of years, AP performer as well. Super honored and excited and pleased to be along the ride in this story so far.
Shellcat?
I am Shawnee of Showcat Cosplay. You can find me across the entirety of the internet at Showcat Cosplay, whether that's Blue Sky, YouTube, you name it. Showcat Cosplay will get you to me. This has been, wow, what a powerful story. I am just as nervous as Sway to find out about everything and how it's all gonna unfold. It has been lovely playing this game.
And I've been your flight controller. I'm Perry Clark. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in the San Francisco Bay Area. I also have a podcast called Untying Knots, Minds and Souls Untethered, which I talk about the intersection of not only mental health, but a number of different other topics that intercede and connect with that. I can also be found over on Symphony Entertainment as one of the players there. And also I can announce, because we have announced it, I will also be over on the Old Ways Network playing a game called Silver Scream, which will be coming out later in the year. So keep an eye out for that, as I'll be playing that too. Otherwise, please tune in for our fourth and final episode as well. And I want to thank you all for watching, and also my blunders as GM, because doing actual play, this is the first time I've seriously done this. So looking forward to wrapping this story up in our next one. So stay tuned, and we'll see you soon, folks. Bye.